This session is about anticipation and accents. Accents add vitality, drama, and contrast to our animation. Anticipation strengthens that, but more importantly, anticipation tells us what is going to happen. It's the preparation for an action, and it's essential to theater, live action, and animation. The great animator Bill Tytla said, "There are only three things in animation: anticipation, action, and reaction. Learn to do these three things well and you can animate well." Charlie Chaplin said, "Show them what you're going to do it, and show them that you've done it." Which is the same thing as Bill Tytla said. It can be very, very corny to go anticipate, and you've seen it a million times. The thing about an anticipation, they always say, go down before you go up, which strengthens the action. If I'm getting out of a chair, get a chair here. I'm going to anticipate I'm not just going to get out of this chair as if a magnet sucked me out of it. It's going to be an anticipate, probably that or something, or I'm going to go down before I go up, and I unfold. We unfold, right? Not everything's happening at once. So the going down strengthens the going up. So they always say go, that's the justification for anticipation. You see an old guy in a chair, and he's going down, you know he's going to get up if he can. On the other hand, you can get up, isn't it? Somebody says, "They've got Hollywood on the phone for you, Chris," and he goes, up, right? No anticipation. And that's just a characteristic of a natural reaction. But you can just get up. But it strengthens it. That's the theory. When we get up from a chair, we go back before we go forward, and down before we go up. Anticipation is the preparation for an action, and the anticipation is always in the opposite direction to where the main action is going to go. Any action is strengthened by being preceded by its opposite. Action in the whole body gives the anticipation tremendous latent force. A runner will go back before he goes forward. The rough rule is that before we go one way, we first go the other. Of course, with a cartoon, when it sees something, it'll anticipate its exit, and it'll work with no drawings at all going out. Take someone making a point. It's weak. And now if we put in a stronger anticipate, go back before we go forward, it's much stronger. When starting a walk, it's unnatural to start with the furthest foot from the direction we're going. Start the walk with the foot nearest to where he's going, which is okay. his right foot could back up to anticipate his walk. Which is just passable. Or he could anticipate the walk by backing up his left foot to free his right foot to step over. This works. Take a man on a diving board. Start with the nicest leg. He anticipates and anticipates again. A dancer's start position can work as an anticipation. Then a small anticipation up before he goes down to anticipate the big jump up. A baseball pitcher goes through an elaborate sequence of anticipation, building up power before his throw. We can use flamboyant gestures as anticipation. Say a showbiz lady's going to put her hand on her hip. Here it is on ones. Same drawing shot on twos. Now add in-betweens and shoot it all on ones. And it's a figure eight. Anticipation is a magician's stock in trade. Incidentally, there are 3 figure eights in this action. The hands go up before they go down. Even with smaller actions, say a hand writing, it's perfectly clear what's happening. But add an anticipate up before he writes, and we feel the person thinking. Now for invisible anticipations. Here's one way to get snap in animation. Say a character sees something surprising and looks up. Let's put in a very fast anticipation, a drawing or two in the opposite direction from where he's going. Here it is with 1 extra frame of anticipation. Now let's add 2 frames of anticipation. We don't see it, we feel it. This gives it the snap. Say a soccer goalie is going to stop a ball with a circular foot flourish. Let's add a one-frame anticipation in the opposite direction. Now add in 2 frames of invisible anticipation. Again, we feel it rather than see it. Here's a guy catching a ball. We'll break the joint and anticipate the throw. The joint breaks in the opposite direction and throws. See it in action. Works well. But now, we'll add an anticipate forward for 2 frames. And continue with the normal anticipation. Gives it extra snap. Conclusion. We anticipate an action, we do it, we show the result. When I was young, I saw this great French mime artist, Marcel Marceau. Just like the silent movie stars, he was a master of anticipation. He always said, use big anticipation. You ever seen Marcel Marceau do Old Age, Maturity, and Death? That dates me. When he was young, well, he's great now, but he was unbelievable. And he'd have this old guy come running out, Pierre Ité, I think his name was. He was an old French mime. And he'd hold up this sign of what Marceau was going to do. And the sign would say, old age, maturity, and death. So there's your setup, right? He runs off, and Marceau is on the ground like this, and there's your anticipation. He just doesn't do anything. He's in his white mime suit. And there's the anticipation. What's he going to do? And he gets born. Somehow he becomes a baby and is born, and then, like walking on a trolley, he makes baby steps, and then he turns into a boy before your very eyes, and I can't do it, and he turns into a young man, and then he turns into a more mature man, and then he gets middle-aged, and he's walking all the time towards you, middle age, and then he becomes older, and then he starts getting decrepit, and he just shrivels up in front of you, and he's still walking, and he just goes back into a thing and dies. And it's the most, it's an unbelievable thing. And the death is the result, isn't it? And you've seen life. So the great thing is that they have the sign up there, which acts as the setup, isn't it? And then you're anticipating what he's going to do. The sign makes you also anticipate. Now we come to accents. Accents are where you emphasize an action and give it the right amount of impact. Getting good head, body, and hand accents was the hardest thing for me to learn. Accents. And I think accents, there are 2 kinds. Hard accents and soft accents. This was the hardest thing for me to learn. And when I finally got it right, that's when Ken graduated me as an animator. The hard accent is this. Look, bang, bang, bang. Go and never darken my door again. A soft accent is maybe you should go. Maybe you should never darken my door again. It's softer. Maybe you should darken my door again. No. You see? well, you can come here as much as you like, but I don't want you messing with my wife, right? So 2 soft accents and a hard one. So it's getting the difference, getting those things right. I think we should run this. I've got a clip of, it's a very bad print, but it's this sequence, and I have to listen to me tell the story again about Ken Harris and my accents. And there's a clip of this zigzag with the cards, which I worked on a lot. And Ken, I didn't have my accents right. And what it is he says something like, I have power over people. And he's doing that vibrate. He's doing a side-to-side vibrate applied to a hypnotist thing. One set of drawings there and another. I have power over people, vibrate, though they may appear complex. And we had all kinds of effects in the end, gleaming eyes and everything. For me, they fall like playing cards, and he's spreading out these cards, and I control the decks, and then it all goes to pieces. He's in front of this sort of monstrous king, and he has to catch the cards. And as he's doing it, he's going, ho, 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 catch, ho, 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 ho. And he's doing all these accents. And I had the scene done, and Ken would look at it and say, I'm not very good on the accents. So I'll show you how to do, finally, we've got to do the accents. What to look for is that head accents are always, nearly always, up. Go! And never darken my door. And I've had enough of this. You know, Hollywood. The heads go up, usually, and you say, I don't know if I can take this nonsense. It's usually, I don't know if it's usually up, the head accents. And an accent to read must have a minimum of 6 frames. Either it's a hold, I can't hold, it wobbles. Very hard to stop a thing. Anyway, if it's a hold, it should be a minimum of 6 frames to read the hold. So if we're going 1, 2, 3, you know, dot, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 frames in a second, 1, 2, 3, 4. You gotta have 6 frames at least to read those hits, right? 6 into 24. 4 into 24 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 frames each. So that's what I had to do with these cards. He had to grab the card and pull it back, which would be a rebound, which is a hard accent, and the head would go up, and then I had soft accents and hard accents, and you'll see. And everything's working independent of everything else.
I have power over people, though they may appear complex. For me, they fall like playing cards, and I control the decks. Ha! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Ha! He! Ha! Ha! He!
This is jumping ahead to dialogue, but I always regret that I always have to hit the accent a little harder than, in this case, going further. I always regret if I haven't hit it hard enough. And if you notice with most animated stuff, the character doesn't look like it's speaking if it isn't hitting those accents, even if they're subtle. You want to hit the bad animators, of which there are minions, they're saying a thing that's accented, like I'm saying, this is accented, and the head isn't accenting it. The head is saying, this is accented, and it doesn't work. You need to hit those accents hard and cushion out of them, or rebound out of them, or freeze them, or however you do it. It's tricky, but the system is very simple. Let's do a hard accent, bounce back. There's a rebound. They rebound. So here's our timing. This is a finger number 1. And that'll be number 6. Let's put it out here, number 6. Hard accents bounce back. Here the hand flashes out to number 6 and bounces back to number 10. Boom. He grabs a card and he doesn't stop. He grabs a card and pulls it back. Bump. Hard accent. Bump. Hitting a thing with a hammer. Bump. Bump. If you hit an anvil with a hammer, dunk. You have the sound not on the hit, the frame after. You read it. Dunk. That's a hard accent. They rebound. Dunk. 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 We read the accent on the rebound. If I try to stop it, so I hold on drawing 6, I can't. At least I'll try. Watch. I'm getting a wobble, which would be a very nice side-to-side wobble, reducing down as the palsy stops. Okay, wobble, wobble. You could do that. If you try to stop it dead, but it's going to be more effective to rebound and vibrate slightly. Rebound. Look at that one. Rebound and vibrate. Rebound and vibrate. Here's a hard accent with finger wobble on the rebound. Then the soft accent is very similar, except it keeps going. Soft accents continue. So, same drawing for number 1. Drawing number 6 is going to be about a minute. Let's do it here. Continue here. To 10. And it'll be, the chart will be exactly the same. 1, 6. Whoa. 6, 10. Actually, to make it softer, I'm going to put 5 a little closer to it. That one in the middle. 4, 3, 2, 7, 8, 9. Soft accents don't bounce back. They keep on going. Here's the same thing with extra in-betweens at each end. So it's like a conductor, orchestral, there's soft accents. Doing a waltz, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4. He's going down and it's continuing. You play the note there and it continues. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5. Okay? And that's all there is, except that you must have at least 6 frames. I mean, golly, this should be for a hard act. Go and never darken my... You know, I held a lot longer. I'm sure it's 12 or something, or 16 frames, you know, but he's doing like this. You 6 frames is your minimum. Absolute minimum. To read an accent. How many frames? We need 6 frames to read each of these hand positions. Let's see if fewer frames works. Here's a cartoon mouse. What happens if we hold each accented position for just 4 frames? Now let's try 5. The great Tex Avery says 5 works best. I vote for 6. Incidentally, there's a thing I learned later on, which I call hunting for the extra position. Look for an extra position to strengthen your action or to make it more interesting. A take is really a kind of accent, and I'll use a take here as an example of hunting for that extra position. This is a take with an extra drawing, extra position there. And it's going to be the same principle as this. If we have a guy here, that's the first pose. Here he goes down into the and here it goes up, he's up in the hey, he's going to yell. Hey. And you would have him settle into something like this maybe. Okay? There's an extra drawing I want to get in. Extra position. There's first pose, second, third pose. End position. He sees something outrageous and yells. You put this one, you've got this long shape here, you put a new one in here, up at the top. Somewhere. That shape. Well, this is overdoing it. Now let's find an extra position to strengthen it. But can we find yet another extra breakdown position? Yes, we can.
And it's kind of that, looking for that extra position, another breakdown, if you want to call it, or another passing position, or another intermediate position, whatever you want to call it. That becomes much more interesting than just going 1, 2, 3, as the other takes were. And you can do that a lot with dialogue in a much less crude way. Here's a thing we can use. It works on a point. If somebody's going to point, that's 1, and they're pointing here, right? And that's to position 2. You can put in a drawing, let's say this is, just to get the timing, let's say that's number, I do put it here, 1, 2, no, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is an odd one. And this is number 6. Okay. 5 for one frame could be the opposite of 6. It's out there where 6 is, but you just bend that elbow. Now, and if you did number 4, 4 would be sort of normal. Right in the, do it in red. See what I mean? So it's going to, you're bending the arm 1 frame in the opposite direction. But everything else is going to be in the middle. So that is going to be, say that's in the middle there. The in-between, right, smack in the middle. And the others, however they are. Okay? So that'll just, that's a very minuscule detail, but it will give you that, right? I'm going to go to here. It'll give you that.
Here's an extra position to get snap. Here's the same kind of thing, but we're snapping it in the middle of the move.
Just gives boom. It says minuscule snap. That would be a good place to use something cockeyed. But it's not that cockeyed, it's just going in the wrong direction. So it's doing exactly like a breaking joint, except one straight, isn't it? You're getting that again. More change.
Another way to achieve an accent or snap is to use a whip action. Snap. Snap. Now if you slow that down, take the snap out of it, slow it down, you get a wave action. We're using this all the time in animation. Here's a basic whip action with snap at the end. It's almost doing a figure 8. And it's on ones, of course. A slower version of a whip action without a snap gives you a wave action, like this man swinging on a rope. It's going one way, then the other, cushioning both ends. We are using this wave action all the time in animation, applied to different things. Here it is applied to a small action, like a woman batting her eyes. On ones, on ones with added in-betweens. Same thing, shot on twos. A great animator, Abe Levito, helping us out on the Christmas Carol, showed me how to apply this simple wave or whip action to something as unexpected as a laugh.
This is a whip action applied to a laugh. Did you notice that, was it in that clip, Tiny Tim laughing? He did that lovely little thing with his hand, and he went, ha, 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 when he says the child will die, you know, if he doesn't get looked after or something, the child will die. Ha, ha, ha. And Abe Levito animated this wonderful laugh.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die. The child will die.
In the middle of the carol, we were working at night nearly all the time, and we'd go out for a late night meal. And this one night we got loaded, and I came back to the studio with him, and I was raving about this wonderful laugh he did. And I said, well, please, can you draw it for me? So these are, I'm just going to copy his drunken drawings. And he drew them this crudely as well, which there, and then the head goes down.
The laugh waves up to its top position and then waves back down the other way. Going over and coming back. Here's the same thing all crushed together.
So he's saying this is like the top of the whip. It's going whoop, and then back into here.
The child will die.
It's a wonderful illustration of how these principles, the sophisticated use of the basics. He's done this wonderful thing with the hands on it. And I said, well, what did you do with those hands? You know, was that worked out on the whip? And he said, no, I just did that straight ahead. So you see, he was using the system.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
the wave goes up to the highest point and back down again. In this session, we looked at accents and anticipations. Accents are also very important for dialogue, and dialogue is a tricky area for many animators, and we'll need 2 sessions on it, coming up next.